Hello, everyone. I think we're live. I'm seeing all of your chats coming in. I see Faye from Hot Atlanta, Heather in New York, Clara in New Jersey. Wait, Jersey, UK, my bad. Amber, Indiana, Santa Barbara from Susan. Hi, guys. I love seeing all this chat. We have a really fun little time together planned for you. Nicole, San Francisco, Dallas, another Atlanta, Hillary, Canada. Gosh, what time is it for everybody? Savannah, Georgia. Hey, Charity. I wish I was in Savannah, Georgia. Love Savannah. Portland, Elena. Guys, I'm so excited to have you here. Keep telling us where you're from, and we are so pumped to be with you today. I just want to intro everybody sitting here. So we have Jessica Zimmerman with us, and Jessica's actually just moderating the chat. So any questions you have as we go along, just go ahead and throw those in there. Jessica will be taking note, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. Gosh, there's so many. Jacksonville, Florida, Philadelphia, Tennessee. Yay, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Bunch of Sarahs. Okay, and then we have Riley here with us. Riley is a photographer. She's in Alabama, and she's going to be sharing a lot with us today. We're going to really focus on hearing from Riley and Megan. So Megan is the designer behind May Co. And she has so much great content to share today, and we're just excited to sit with you and spend about 30 to 45 minutes with you. We're just gonna breeze through it pretty quickly, but we are here to help. So make sure that you just chat in the box. We see all these chats coming in, and Jessica has a big job to do to keep up with those, but she's a rock star, so she can do it. We wanna answer your questions again. For those of you that are just jumping in, we're going to have a time at the end to answer questions. So anything you think of, kind of stream of consciousness, throw it in the chat box. But if we don't get to it during the presentation, we'll have a Q&A at the end for all those questions. I see Enola and Charlotte, Minnesota. I love that. Hey, Lisa. Y'all are hilarious. So we're so sweet. Okay. Who's ready to dive in? How we built a six-figure business with less than 5,000 Instagram followers. So it's an interesting topic, and I'm excited. You probably all have in your brain, like, what am I gonna learn today? What are we gonna talk about? So I just kind of wanted to preface it with this. And I just want you to give me a little yes in the chat box if you are resonating with anything that I'm talking about in this little intro. Just give me a high five, a yes, your favorite emoji or emoticon, because I don't really know what they're called. So let me guess. You right now on your social media are working super hard to follow all the rules. You know, all the should do's, all the rules they tell us that we're supposed to do. And some of you sitting here probably have built a huge following. You might have 20, 30, 40, 50. I have clients with 100, 200, 300 plus in their following. But you might have this big, huge number that's still not seeing the profits in your business that you were hoping for. You still can't build that team that you want. You still feel like, is this ever going to work? This still feels unsustainable. If that's you, and if you feel comfortable, just give us a yes. Like, you're feeling me. You feel like you've done it. You built it. What's going on? And then there's people also sitting with us that are on the flip side. You still might have 100, 200, 300, 3,000, 4,000 followers, and you're following all the rules. Your grid looks awesome. You're using Planoly, which is a great tool. Yes, guys, I'm seeing those yeses. Leslie, Phoebe, Marie. So some of you are still like, you have a little following or have built a pretty large following, but yet those likes just aren't going up. They're not getting bigger. The response just isn't there. The inquiries are not flooding in your inbox like you were promised. I'm seeing so many yeses. So this is why we're here today, because I think that we are told all these rules that we're supposed to follow. And if you do all these things, then these results would happen. And it might be social media we're talking about today, but I just want to tell you a little story about my past. So I started in financial planning. I see all those yeses, loving these. Keep them coming. Kathleen, Sabrina, Megan, Celine, Allison. I started in financial planning, and I was told that if you do this one thing, if you follow this one rule, then you cannot fail. You cannot fail. And so every single year for 5 years, I chased that rule. I tried so hard to hit it. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit that number. I'm going to get there. And every single year I fell short, and I never hit that number. And every single year I felt like a failure. And so I would sit down and I would do my annual planning, and I thought, gosh, like, can I ever get there? I followed all the rules. I did all the actions, but yet why is it not happening? And after I left financial planning, I looked back and I thought, wow, I never celebrated in what I did do because I was so focused on this thing that I never hit, this one thing that I didn't do. So I never was able to celebrate in my own success. The fact that I was able to pay my bills, the fact that I had amazing clients who listened to me and trusted me, but this one thing I never did. And so today I feel like that's kind of like social media. We have this rule, this belief that if we follow all these rules, social media is that one thing. And I created this webinar for you today and pulled together some amazing people, Riley and Megan today, Jessica and Aaron tomorrow, to share with you, like, we built businesses that pay our bills and allow us to have a life. Yes, without really following all those rules. So we're going to give you 5 new rules, 5 truths that we found as critical truths to build a business that does that pays your bills and still allows you to have a life outside of that. So if you're ready, if you're excited for the 5 lessons we have to share, give me a yes in there, give me a high five. I don't know if in webinars you can give emojis, but I love them, so like put them in there. And we're so excited to jump in with you today. So stick with me for the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'm seeing those yeses, I love it. Gosh, it's quick today, this is good. Amy, Pamela, Rachel, Jen, Nicole, Amira, Amina, Blanca, gosh, I'm bad with names. Sandra, Sarah, I love this. Caitlin, guys, we're so excited. 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to give 5 steps. And we're going to share it in story style. So Riley and Megan have some incredible content to share, and we're going to give you 5 tips that we feel like are keys to building a business that puts money in your pocket and allows you to have a life. So Marcy, Sheila, Megan, let's do it. Let's jump in. Lesson number 1. Let me get my prez up here. Okay, here we go. So lesson number 1, people buy from people. Okay, sounds simple, right? People buy from people. We get that, we know that. Let me share with you a little rule that I learned in finance. Okay, it's called the 10-3-1 strategy. Let me know in the chat box if you've ever heard of the 10-3-1 strategy. So what this tells us is that for every 10 people that we are referred to or that we come in contact with, typically 3 of them, so we're seeing some no's here. Yes, okay, so good. This is a good new concept. 10-3-1, so for every 10 people that come in contact with our work or are interested or referred to us, 3 of them will actually meet with us and 1 of them will buy from us. So that shows me 10-3-1, about 30%. 30% of people that come in contact with us or referred to us, 30% of the people we actually meet with. So in finance, this meant that I had to get names of 10 people and calling on them to have 3 meetings in order for 1 of them to buy from me. So what does this lesson teach us, 10-3-1? It teaches us that we should not be getting them all. Despite what we think and how you feel, every referral that comes in, every inquiry that comes in, if you're getting them all, actually you're doing something wrong. You're priced too low. You're saying yes to too many. 10-3-1 tells us that only about 30% of the people that we're talking to should be saying yes to us. This has been studied for hundreds of years in the finance world, talking about how many prospects do we need in order to get that 1 client. So I just want to give you this rule today, and then Riley's going to jump in and share about her story about building relationships and letting us remember that we shouldn't be hearing a yes from every single person. So I'm going to have Riley start and just say, like, okay, Riley, if people buy from people, then I just want you to share what was integral. You know, we see Riley and you just exploded and we see these beautiful images. And I just want you to share, like, how did you get in contact with some of those people you collaborated with? How did you start your journey? And just share with us today, like, how you started.
So when I started shooting weddings, I started when I was 16, and I did a lot of things kind of on my own. I really focused on creating relationships with people who we could collaborate together with. I did a lot of things on my own dime. I think that is something that allowed me to have control over my work, and I humbled myself to just do a lot of things for other people and to do things for myself. And that, I feel like, doing that along with being really edited and only showing what I wanted to continue to shoot really worked for me. And I think that's one of my not even a secret, but that was one of my things that I did really well was, even though I shot a lot of things that I really loved, I didn't show all of it. I really showed what I loved.
Yeah.
I loved, but also wanted to shoot more of. But yeah, I think creating the relationships that I did early on, like I said, that was a while ago now, and we have now years into some of these friendships. And my favorite work is always with my friends that a lot of times came from just collaborating. And I was just really bold. And sometimes I think back now and think, I don't know if I would be as bold as I was then, but I would write emails to people and say, hey, I'm a big fan. I'd love to collaborate with you. Or, hey, I'd love to photograph your family or your, different things, and just reaching out. And almost always got yeses. And this is before I had even a portfolio to really show that I was legit. Like people respond to just being a person and having real conversation with people. So I think starting at that basis of just being real and humbling yourself to do something like that, emailing and reaching out or saying, hey, I'd love to meet with you and just chat. People ask me that all the time too. So on the reverse, I love when people ask to just start relationships. And I think it's a really beautiful thing and a beautiful way to start your business.
I love what you said, Riley, about boldness. I think that that's so true. And so I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, but what would you say to somebody though? Like, I think it is a world of emails and phone calls, and inside of social media, commenting, not just liking, but like commenting. I have a girl that I love, and I love her hair, and I want to know what her hair products are. So I literally sent her an email through her website the other day. It was like, I need to know you. I like everything you're doing, and I love your hair. So, it's taking it a step farther than just but so what would you say to somebody though that's fearful of that, that's like maybe hiding a little bit or afraid to pick up the phone? How would you encourage them to build that relationship?
Well, one, it's funny that you said that about the hair story, because that's how I met one of my best friends.
Seriously?
Joanna. And then from meeting Joanna, I've met all of my other best friends. To think about that and think about how it was funny. I was like, I love your hair. Who cut it? Who colored it? She ends up being a stylist herself. But I don't even know how I found her. But so that relationship, and then I collaborate with her all the time too. She does hair and makeup for photo shoots. But yeah, sometimes it just comes. And then Ginny Ah, which you might be familiar with, we got connected just because I found her business card and I liked the way that it felt. So I emailed her and I said, who prints your business cards? And this was back way several years ago. And so just to think about those sometimes the conversations didn't even start off of, I'd love to do a shoot with you. Some of it was, just human questions. Just,
Yeah.
I like your hair, I like what your business looks like, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think for people who are scared to hear stories, like when I think back at just about these amazing friendships that I have, to think that if I didn't have that boldness, or didn't have that, where I just, who cares if she thinks I'm weird for asking about her hair or whatever. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have these dear friends that I love so much. So I don't know. I think, if you're really nervous, just, you're hiding behind email in the beginning anyways. Those people won't even know who you are.
I love it.
There's nothing to fear. And then, then you might go and meet them, and maybe that conversation's really awkward, and maybe not. Like, what, you have nothing to lose except for them thinking that you're really awkward, and it's worth it.
I love it. Right. This is such a good point. Like, I just want to point, when I worked in finance, we had to make 40 phone calls a day. And so I think I just became numb to this. You just ask. And I just want to challenge everyone listening. Well, first, I want you to write in the chat box, like, what's the most bold thing you've ever done in your business? Like, what's something really bold that you've done? And then I want to challenge you as we move on to the next lesson, like, try to hear a no or something every single day. If you could just like reach out and hear no's, get connected. Like, this is a good thing. I think the best point Riley made is get bold. Because I think I saw in the chat box, like, you think people are connected just because of their work, but it's so interesting how people connect in totally random ways. And that can make a friendship, I think that can make a friendship just flourish. So, okay, let's keep, I'm gonna just summarize these. Riley, great points. Great point. So the truth of number one, relationships are still the best referred. You might see I see a lot of Instagram on my inquiry forms, where it says it came from Instagram, but then it is always followed up by someone's Instagram. And so people are still the best referrers. And then what Riley said, be bold, reach out, just connect human to human, and you'll be surprised at the relationships you develop. I just want to read Rebecca's, or Sabrina, the most bold thing that I've done is reach out to local creators to start a workshop series. I love it. That's so great. Rebecca asked random family, I thought was super cute, if I could photograph them, and they are now long-term clients. Love it. Guys, there is something powerful when we get bold. Okay, so lesson number 2, build a track record. Okay, so in the finance world, we talk about track records as in habits, like you consistently perform a same way, and that becomes your track record. But today we're going to talk about this in terms of building a track record with your brand. And so I'm going to have Megan pop in here and talk about building a track record in your brand, building consistency in your brands. What are some of the most important things you've done? I told Megan when we talked last time, like, anytime I see an image, I'm always like, that is May. I know, that's May. And I'm like, how in the world did you do that? I think we're all asking ourselves that. And now with social media, our game's had to be stepped up, So our grid's consistent and everything's consistent. So Megan, enlighten us on your amazing branding tools. Oh, wait, can y'all hear her? You might be muted. Wait, try again. You there? Mm-mm. You're not muted. Put your headphones back in and see if that works. Can anybody hear Megan? No, she's so much good. Yes, no? Megan, can you hear us? We can't hear you. No. Okay, I'm gonna have Riley pop in because she's gonna talk on this point too while we get Megan worked out with her sound. Okay, Megan, Kyle says to maybe reboot and log back in. and see if that works. It worked when you had your headphones in. So Riley's going to speak to this too, and she also mentioned this before about building consistency with her imagery. So Riley, I just want you to share how this is such a big question that I get about building your portfolio, and what if I don't have imagery to share, and all these these are really valid questions, especially now in a world that's so visual. So how did you build up your look and build consistency in your brand? And hopefully we'll get Megan back soon.
Can you see me?
We can. Okay, Riley, pause. Megan, go.
Okay. Okay, so going back to the idea of consistency and how do you create it? And I think the first thing is to be patient with yourself, because when you're creative, whether that means you're visually creative or you're creative because you're able to start your own business and share something you're able to do with others, you have to grow and change. But I think that creating consistency in large part is thought about in two different ways. So the first thing is like go with your gut and just make things that you're excited about. And I think that it's really tough to have one note. So you have to like let yourself explore like a whole melody of different things. And then I would also say always be collecting things that you like visually, or you like how people present it, or they approach things or word things, and then start to pick out like what's the commonality. Like it looks like everything I like has really moody shadows, or it looks like everything I like has really strong contrast. There's something small, there's something big. Or I really like that this person always says things in really short sentences. You know, start to identify what you like about what other people do and see how that aligns with what your gut, what you're putting out there is. And you'll start to be able to create either a list or just kind of know internally what those things are that are unique to you, and then give yourself room to like change that and continually reevaluate it to make sure that what you're sharing is really expressing something that's unique to you. So people do have that moment where they're like, oh, that's so you. And I think something that can be really tough is when you're in that crux of changing from what you used to be like to what you want to be like. And I think that if you feel really firm that where you're going, if it's super different than where you were, that you need to fully jump in and explore it. And if you trust yourself and start to work behind the scenes to make sure maybe you're changing your audience or you're doing other things outside of like those visual aspects, that everything will line up. So trusting your gut in consistency, I think, is super important.
I love that, Megan. And you shared with me one thing the other day I want you to point out. You said if you can find 3 things that are always consistent, then you can make a lot of different things look like you. And so will you just bring that up and kind of share that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. What you said to me, like when you see an image and you know it's so May, I love hearing that, because it means like I am being myself all the time. But I think it's actually really hard, even now, and even as I help other people identify their 3 things, it's hard for me to say, okay, yeah, this is exactly what my style is, and I understand why you knew it was me. I almost wonder if like there's something about that everybody, you can never truly connect on it, because like you're always changing. But for me right now, what I feel like aligns, whether I'm arranging something and styling, or I'm designing and illustrating, or even I think it goes past visuals, like the things that I help people with. For me, I find color always has to be a part of it, and texture, so either like layering or contrasted textures. And then another one is like a really strong composition, so something small, something big, or like a lot of white space or a lot of busyness. So for me, those are like my 3 things that I use in everything I make.
Love that. That was so good, Megan. Thank you for sharing. And then Riley, I just want you to jump in, kind of speaking to that as in your work, so that's a great way to show your brand consistency, but then also how to create like how did you start out and build your portfolio to make it feel like this is Riley's work?
Yeah. So for me, I talk about this a lot when I'm speaking to people, when I speak at Fount Collective and that sort of thing. But my big focus is on truth. And there's a lot of areas that Megan and I, we have a lot of like similar beliefs in that. But I really focus on just truth and who I am. And C.S. Lewis has a really great quote that applies to this. It says, even in literature and art, no man who bothers about originality will ever be original. Whereas if you simply try to tell the truth without caring two pence how often it's been told before, you will 9 times out of 10 become original without ever having noticed it. Instead of really focusing on being original and being too focused on, is this me, just like she said, like Megan said, going with your gut, focusing on that truth and what really is truly you, and putting out things that feel really truly you, you continue to get that work back, and people resonate with that truth that you're sharing. And it's also just easier to tell the truth than to try to form this lie, not a lie, that's kind of harsh, but try to form something that who you are when it's not really who you are. And those, or even trying to do work that doesn't feel like what you really want to do. It's harder to do that and to put that out there than it is to just put out things that you really love and that is truly your desire for the work that you want to do. And I think that creates consistency right there, because if you're just putting out that, or if you're trying to find consistency in, from one wedding to the next or one client to the next, and they have their differences, but it's going to be consistent with your work because you're creating something that's truly from your heart. Does that cover what?
Yeah, and one of the things that we talked about before was, one of the biggest questions I get is, what if I'm not getting the work that I want yet? And you shared with me how you kind of created a space and a budget to do work that you wanted to put out.
Yeah, so in the beginning and still now, I had created a yearly budget of how much I wanted to spend on what would be like advertising budget, and instead of putting it towards ads or other forms, which those have a place too, and I think that's effective. But for me, my goal for those years were to build my portfolio, because I had shot digital for about 1.5 years when I was, starting out. Like I said at the very beginning, I shot digitally for about 1.5 years. And so I had a little bit of a portfolio. I had 20 or so weddings that I could have used on my portfolio, but instead of holding on to those and then trying to switch to film like I did, I completely just shut down that website, started a new website, and pretty much started out with one wedding, one engagement shoot, and one family shoot. And from there, I was able to book things. I think because they were able to see consistency throughout those small amount of shoots and weddings that I had, they could see that. And, then we would have conversations about what that looked like, since I didn't have much more in my portfolio after that. But I created a budget and stuck with that, where instead of, maybe spending $500 on this ad or whatever, I spent $500 on film and processing and putting together a shoot. Sometimes I did them completely by myself, and sometimes I did them reaching out to people and collaborating, and whether they had a name for themselves or whether they were just in the very beginning too. That was really the most fun part of my business, was the very beginning, where nobody was really watching what you're doing. It's just creating things yourself and not even caring if anybody ever sees it, but truly making things that were just truly what I wanted to do. So that was a fun time.
This is so good. Okay, so let's summarize. So first, people buy from people. So build those relationships, be bold. Secondly, we want to build this track record. We want to build consistency. So the girls have both talked about consistency in their work, and I loved hearing from two very different types of businesses the ways that the similarities are the same. Like, you want to put out what you want to do. I mean, when Megan and I talked, she didn't share this today, but when we talked, she's like, I put all these things on my website and then started eliminating to figure out which ones that were the right things. And Riley created this work, and I just wanted to share like a little bit of my story. Was I started working with Amy Osaba doing flowers because I just didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And I started helping her with her money, and people started noticing that, and people started asking me for help. And this is kind of what I mean by like developing a track record. When people see what you're doing for others, they're going to want you to do that for them. And so if you can make it really simple for people to know what you do, Megan spoke to this, like not only in your visuals, but also in your services. We need to have a track record. We need to have consistency. So people buy from people, know what you're selling, show your track record of what you can do, and put only that work out. This is so, so good. Okay, let's move on to the third lesson. And there's been some questions I would just want to speak to. We are going to talk about money, so stick with us. Megan is going to share her story, so stick with us. These are all really good things. All right, so let's share lesson number 3. Okay, so yes, build consistency, perform with excellence, do it good. Okay, number 3, outcomes trump activity. So I'm going to speak for a little bit specifically here on social media, and then I'm gonna get to Riley on this one. So outcomes trump activity. What do I mean by that? And I love this quote it says, are you thinking more about what you have to do or what you want to achieve? So are you thinking more about what you have to do or what you want to achieve? And so let's kind of take that quote and filter it on this conversation. Are we thinking more about activities or these should do's? Or are we thinking more about what is the goal of that should do? I'm going to give you some examples here specifically related to social media. I posted this image the other day. It was about a blog post that I wrote. Can a creative business financially support my family? You see here, I pointed out I got 67 likes. I guess 69, but 67 likes. So I could look at this image, and let me just ask you in the chat box, I want you to, if this has happened to you, and so for 67 might be a really great number for you. I have 9,000 followers, so this is like 0.001% of people liked it. So what would you respond to getting a low amount of likes on a post? Just chat it in here to the box. What would you do if you saw a ton of, like, nobody liked this one really bombed? What are you going to do with that post? I'm going to wait because I just want to see some chats coming in before I tell you what I would do. There's a little delay, so it'll be awkward for a second. So maybe they go cry in the pantry and eat chips. So like, delete the post, Claire. Yes. Okay, Nicole, delete it. Hashtag it. Okay, so try to get more people. Feel discouraged. Yes. Same. Go eat chips. Examine my content. Delete it. So into disappointment. Look at the time. Look at maybe who liked it. Okay, so not gonna lie, I'd have some tears. Love that. Thanks for the truth here. Add hashtags, question mark, delete it. This is so hilarious. Melody would leave it. Quality over quantity. Get it, girl. Okay, move on. Keep going. This is good. We've got some positive people here on your Strengths Finder test. And okay, so, but listen, y'all, this is a post that gets deleted. Let's just talk about that. This is a post that gets deleted. Sabrina, I would delete it. Okay, let me show you what happened with this post, okay? So this is an image from my website of just a few weeks back. I just started blogging. The last blog was in 2013, y'all. This is so bad. Okay, so I just started blogging again. This is my first week back. And I just want you to look, though. I did a whole week of numbers, and this number in the middle is how many page views I have, 362. You'll see under it's 229, in the 250. So this particular day, I got 362 views, 100 plus more than my average. And it was on a post that I would have deleted. And so I just want to maybe point this out. I'm going to give you some more examples. Like, are we focused more on the activity, the like, or what the like is doing? Does that make sense? Like, can we just change and shift our mindset just a little bit? Like, what are we trying to get out of this? I'm going to give you another example. So this is an image I posted just the other day. I love this image. I wish that I had taken a screenshot of this like 2 hours after it was posted, but Kyle is sitting here and he will vouch for me. I looked at Kyle. It had 97 likes. So still, 97 isn't a bad number, but again, it's for my amount of following, that's very, very low. If I'm under 100, I'm like, what? If I'm under 150, I'm like, what? If I'm under 200, I'm kind of disappointed. So right now you see 175, but this was like, I took this like a few days ago. So it's had weeks to build up the numbers. 2 hours after, it was only 97 likes. So again, I'm going to assume the same things are going to happen here. Like the likes are really low. This is a delete post, which is sad. I love this post. It really looked good in my grid. I was like really frustrated. We get upset. And I just want, again, let me just ask you, what feelings here, what feelings does that result in? The low, like I saw a lot of discouraged, upset, frustrated, eating chips. If there's any other feelings here that we have, I get really down. I get really frustrated, and I just want maybe to point out, like, are you when you have a bad day, is it related to social media? Is that a yes or no? Kyle always tells me, he's like, have you been on social media a lot today? Because it affects our moods. It can really get to us. So I think we all agree with that. But this is the exact same post. And I just want you to see here that there were 74 plus comments on that post. And so we're getting a lot of comments here about would you delete it or would you not? But the situation here is, I just want to point out, this is the most comments I've probably ever had on a post ever, and it had a very low like percentage. And it told me that the content I wrote in this post resonated with my audience. And again, yeah, if we delete that or if we read their numbers wrong, it's really going to affect our business. So my question to you is, in regards to social media and other things, like how long are we going to focus on those wrong numbers? Are we going to keep looking at the things that maybe are telling us the wrong story? And this is where we talk about that illusion of social media. What is social media, the illusion it's sharing with you? I want to play a little game for a second. And then in the Q&A, we can totally talk about do you delete and do we not? But we're moving on now to a matching game. On the left is the number of followers. These are actual clients, actual numbers. These are clients I've worked with, so these are all actual. Number of followers on the left, and then profits that they received in their business on this profit, not sales, profit on the right. And I just want you to tell me which profit number do you think the person that had 3,488 followers, so the second one down, which profit number do you think is theirs? I'm going to wait as you type it in the chat box. So the 3,488 followers, what is their profit number? Is that the Jeopardy music? Okay, Stephanie's the first one. 3,488 thinks that they have a 108. Gosh, y'all. This is because you know what we're talking about. 83,000. 108's winning the game. Have you seen this game before, Jennifer? It's because we're busting myths. 83,000. Really? Is this what you really would have chosen? People would have, typically we correlate followers with profit. Is this, even if you're saying 108, do you feel that way? Do you feel like, wow, they have really got it made because they have 100,000 followers? Okay, I'm going to give you the real answer. 108,788. Y'all killed it. You wouldn't have known that if we're back. Listen, so I just want to point out the one with the number one followers, 74,600, had the lowest profit, 27,000. Maybe they have a team, things like that, but I just want to show you real things right now. 38,000 had the highest, 221. always choose C. Y'all are hilarious. Okay. The 6,000 followers had 40,000. But look at this. I want to point this out. 638 followers had 83,000. Guys, this is profit. This is not sales. This is profit. Want to show you that, like, followers, despite what all the Instagram courses right now tell you, do not always correlate with profit. Followers are a great thing, and they have the ability to really bump up your business. But my question to you is, let's focus on the right numbers. We don't care so much about followers. We want fans. We don't care so much about shoppers, people that are just like loving our stuff and stealing our images. We want buyers, people that are interested. And so let's focus on the right things. So I just want to I want to stop here, and I want to talk to Riley about this conversation of, and then we'll speed through because, getting chatty Cathy on this. I just want to talk about, like, how did you, this year, you've gone through the last couple of years, some transition of learning, like, kind of slowing down, becoming a mom. I think a lot of times, and this is a big question with us, like, we can look at numbers that tell us one story, and sometimes we kind of get the story wrong. And so I just want you to talk about kind of redefining success in your business and how you were able to focus on what was important and kind of sift out some of the noise over the last couple of years.
Well, Shanna was a huge reason that I was able to look where I was last year and realize I'm exactly where I want to be. And that makes me really happy to not feel like I had to compare or to feel like I wasn't enough. Shanna really showed me a lot of that. Just as I went through the blueprint model last year, she talked a lot about just that freedom of defining success really for yourself and not being something that other people define for you. And I know that might be something that you've heard before, but just the way that she puts it into words was huge for me. But for me, what I wanted my life to look like, it's looking that way with where my business is and where I'm able to spend time with my son, and there be a really good balance there. And if I were to look at Instagram or to be more focused on just comparing, I wouldn't be feeling that way. But I feel that way, happy where I am right now, because I know it's such a gift that in defining success for myself really allowed me to see that I'm right where I need to be. And the whole comparison thing is no fun anyways. I don't follow any other people in the wedding industry. That was something I decided maybe about 2 years ago. I'm not quite sure, but I stopped following anybody in the wedding industry. So you'll see my list of people that I follow is less than 100, and it's people who make food, baby clothes, and like home decor stuff.
Always home decor.
Yes. So I stay away from that. One reason was to just not, subconsciously be accidentally copying people. I wanted to make sure that like I had purified my mind and my inspiration to just be like completely pure of not other people's work. And then also just because, like I said, comparison isn't any fun, and generally I don't deal with that, but I had seen that kind of creep into my life a little bit, and that was one way that I was able to cut back. And then even more recently, especially with Shanna's help and encouragement, like I said, through Blueprint, she encouraged, or at least I think somewhere in the conversation between other students, I'm not sure if Shanna mentioned this herself in the course, but to be encouraged to not have my phone constantly. I know at one point I kind of dabbled in a lot of different ways to just like keep changing. But at one point I had my Instagram only on my iPad, and that was really great. Now I have it back on my phone now that I feel like I have control over it. But then again, right now at the beginning of the year, my husband and I are doing some fasting from certain things, including like foods and stuff as well. But Also fasting from social media. So we're about to do that, or we're doing that starting this week. We're fasting from it completely, and I'm excited to see that. And so I've been able to step back, and I haven't seen this, scary change to where I'm still booking clients, and I'm enjoying it a lot more.
Yeah, I think the key with, Riley and Jessica will speak to this more tomorrow, and probably so many people that have gone through the blueprint model, which I'm really thankful for, but just to realize, like, if we focus again on those right numbers and defining what we need, what is success to us, it gives us a lot of freedom to be able to step back and know that we can work less, know that we can take on less or more. Like, we have seasons of pushing, we have seasons of pulling back, and being okay with either one, because again, we're focused on the right numbers. And that's why I showed you all the things about social media, and just realizing, like, we're focused here on getting the outcome right, not necessarily on that number. So that's such a great point. And I heard a pastor talk the other day. I've shared this so often, but they said our women, our number one cause, what causes us worry, is either comparison or perfectionism. So I think knowing and being aware that that's, media has so many good things, but it can be bred there. So let's move on to number 4. So, because we're taking some good time, and then give Megan some more time to chat here. All right. So truth number 4, margin is everything. So we have talked about people buy from people. We have talked about focus on the outcome you're looking for, and then we talk about building that track record. So here, margin is everything. And I just want to talk about margin in the terms of time and money. And I'm going to have Megan specifically speak to this and share her transition over the last couple of years and how you realized margin and the importance of these numbers. Let's kind of dig into that.
Yeah, so I feel like if you run a business, margin is like an obvious word. Like if you're in the kitchen, refrigerator is an obvious word. But to me, margin wasn't something that I really ever thought about, and it almost sunk my business. I started my business, May, when I was in college 9 years ago. And at the start, you're just trying to get anybody. And I can really resonate with what Riley was sharing about like reaching out to anybody. And I took it maybe to an excess out of desperation. And I would like spam. I mean, I didn't think of it as spam, but I would spam people on Facebook like, hey, we graduated from the same college. Can I make wedding stationery for you? That's why I started my business, was doing wedding stationery. And my main goal was just to like have clients, and I didn't think too much about margin. And when I priced my work, I would compare myself to other people that these first clients would maybe buy stationery from. So a lot of like online people. And if you look at how much an online place charges you for wedding invitations versus what you need to charge when you make them as just like an independent person, they're so different because they're totally different business models. But I was just so focused on getting anybody to work with me. And then once I had work, my next focus was defining what I was about and what my look was, and trying to shift my clientele from the first people I started working with to a new type of clientele. And then it was like, now I have too much work, so now my focus is like, I need help. And my focus at no point was ever on margin, whether that has to do with your time or your profit. And so for me, what happened was like I can pinpoint the moment. Recently I was talking with a friend who does like a lot of therapy with people, and she's genius. And she was asking me about this moment when I betrayed myself, and when was it? And I thought, and it was this summer. I had over 50 clients. It was just me. And I was making no margin. I was just spinning my wheels. And I thought, if I stayed awake for 1 month, I could maybe finish all this work, but that's probably not going to be possible. And so from that moment on, I feel like I would betray myself all the time not choosing things that were good for me or good for the margin of my business, but just to like make it stay alive. So it was about 6 years of just constantly moving on to the next thing to make it float, make it work. I would say yes to any type of project. I moved to Minneapolis almost 5 years ago and built a team. And we were working out of the living room of my condo. And one day there were like 9 people in my condo. It was February. It's like -15. We have all the windows open because we're spray painting. And my husband is home working too with noise canceling headphones. And he's like, no, this is no more. So I was like, all right, I'll move into a space. So I moved into a space. And it was just like all these things, like build a team, move into a space, offer any type of service, say yes to any type of press opportunity that just totally sunk me. And I found myself in February of 2015 in over 60 grand of business debt and thought, this is it. I was advised to file bankruptcy. I was advised to let go of my team, close my business, get a job. And it was really depressing. And I thought about like, what are all the options? I met with a bunch of wise business owners and asked them, what did I do wrong? And I mean, the answer was, you messed up your pricing. And that was it. That was literally it. And all of like adding a team, adding a workspace, saying yes to all these things. If I had kept margin and pricing at the forefront of what I would do, it would have changed everything. So I started to close my business, applied for a ton of jobs and wasn't getting any. So by August, I was like, I better start saying yes to some jobs because I basically made myself jobless. So I applied everything that I learned from these people about margin, which was really like figuring out, what does it cost to produce this object? What does your time investment look like? If you need X amount of dollars to survive and you can work X amount of hours in a week, just do the math, figure it out, add in other things like taxes, retirement, etc. So I was still trying to get a job. I applied all these things that I learned. I stopped doing my wedding stationery, half of my business, just because how much cost it took to produce things. I was just like, I can't, I don't feel wise or grown up enough to even handle this. So like, goodbye, you're gone. And I just did branding, which I was already doing. And in 3 months, I paid off all my business debt and I had a fresh start. And I've just been applying those things that I learned with my fresh start. And I just feel so thankful because when I tried to steer the ship and do what I was passionate about, I almost sunk it. And I kind of let go and said, Lord, take this because I can't do this on my own. And it was totally brought back to life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Megan, thank you so much. I think everyone listening and I know, stick with us. We have one more great point to share. Can resonate with that. I saw a lot of spinning wheels and like this idea of like, what is margin? How unfortunately, like we just aren't shown that this is a basic. This is a fundamental. We have to have room. Margin is just the space between our capacity and what we're doing. There's got to be a room in the middle, not only with our money and our finances, but our time. And why we did this whole webinar is to say, like, are we focused on the right things or the wrong things? And all these good things, like, I just want to, let's cut those clutter and get back to 5 basics. We sell to people. We have to have a track record. They have to know how to buy from us. We want to focus on outcomes, not activity, and have margin. Create room in your schedule. If you can take on 5 clients, price it so you only need 4. And that's so important and fundamental. Megan, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I think that so many can just resonate with that. So let's hit the takeaways for margin. Know your costs. Megan shared that so well. And track your time. Megan looks back at every single she tracks time on every single project, and she can look back and say, that took me this many hours. I underestimated, or I was right on point. Price with margin in mind, meaning price so that you have leftover. If you know your cost, then you need to price it so that you have money left over. I would say your costs should not be more than 40% of your price. And if you want to dig more into that, you can, we go through that in detail in the blueprint model, but price with margin in mind. So add in extra and then schedule again with margin in mind. If you can only in your schedule take on 5 projects, then you need to price it for 4. So again, margin is just knowing what our capacity is and making room to work underneath our capacity, our financial capacity, our time capacity. We want to create space. Margin is just space, so that we don't have to always work at our capacity or at the most of our income. So we want to create extra money, extra time. That's what margin is. So truth number 5, and Megan pointed this out so well, to simplify it. Have intention, be a planner, simplify. I love this picture from the book Essentialism. I think it does this so well. If we have just so much energy in our day, in our time, financial resources, if we have just so much energy, where are we spending it? You see the picture on the left, these have the same amount of line space. So the line is equal distance. The one on the left probably feels how you feel now. And if that's true, if you feel like the energy ball on the left, just give me a yes in the chat box. Like, we are spending our energy in so many different directions, just moving in so many different directions. You see, we're not getting super far. Just give me a yes if you feel like that energy on the left. So we see Faye, Jamie, Charity, Carly, Allison, Wanda, Sarah, Rebecca, Megan, Mary, Danny, Chanel, Katie, Celine, Amy. Yes, see all those yeses, guys. Like, we're all in this together. Megan's story is you probably were screaming, yes, hallelujah. Somebody knows what I'm feeling like. And Laura, Mary, this is so great. And what would it feel like in your life for you to spend your energy in one direction? Look how much farther ahead they're going. Again, the purpose of this webinar was to say, like, how can we cut the clutter and focus on just a few things? People buy from people, so how can you get bold in reaching out to others? We need to develop a track record consistently. How can you be really, really sure of what you're selling so that your message is clear to others on what they can buy from you? Let's focus on outcomes, and not just the activities or those should-dos. And then find the space in between, in your time and in your money. Create room. That's that word, margin. And lastly, let's simplify. Let's figure out how we can move forward in one direction. So I just want to take a second to ask you, we'll have some participation here. What does it look like right now behind your highlight reel? Just give me a number here on a scale of 1 to 10 if you feel comfortable sharing. 1 is you are barely holding your head above water. And 10, you feel like you are loving it and killing it. You are on cloud 9, just really feeling good. Just give me a 1 through 10. What is your number right now, if you feel comfortable sharing? I'm going to wait because there's a delay. 3, 5, 8, 5s, lots of 5s. Some 1s, I feel you. An 8, another 1, more 1s. 3, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 5. They're pouring in. 4, 6, 2, 5, 2, 1, 3, 4, 4, 5. I think I saw maybe 1 or 2 above a 6. I hope that, like, we're all here. We're all here. And I want to ask you one more question. What does a 10 mean to you? What would it look like in your life to be a 10? We saw lots of 1s, lots of 2s, lots of 3s. But have you defined, like, what is a 10? I just want to ask you, what does a 10 look like? And again, if you can chat it in, what does a 10 mean to you? We're going to wait in the silence and embrace it. Jess, freedom to live the life I want outside of my work. Debt-free, that's a great one, Katie. Clientele I want, consistent work. A 10 is balance. I'm sure a lot of people would think that. I mean, does that mean like having good time at home, good time at work, feeling really good at both? Carly, paying off your credit cards, thriving. Jacqueline, no more debt. Money coming in, travel, freedom. Hitting creative potential, financial freedom. Going to bed at night. Yes, I feel that. We all thriving, not surviving. Being on top of all aspects of my life. More time, more freedom, paying bills, debt-free. God, I love this. A slow life. I want you to read all these comments coming in. These are so beautiful. And can we just feel that for a second and just ask, like, what are we going for? What are we striving for? What does it take to be debt-free? What does it mean to you to have balance? And then I want to ask you, do you believe that that could happen? About 5 years ago, I started working with creative entrepreneurs. Keep these 10s coming. I love it. Keep sending those in. Organized, fully present. Yes, my word for the year is show up. So, or my phrase, I guess. Peace, so present. So I started working with creative entrepreneurs. I started seeing patterns. If you've heard my story before, I share these quite often, but I took the Strengths Finder, and I don't remember exactly what it is, but what my term is, but it says you find patterns really easily. And I kind of sense that. And if you're a Southern girl like me, you have gone to Cracker Barrel and you know the peg game. And the peg game is this little game where you have to move the pegs around and you try to get one left. And so I always say, like, I'm the person watching you play the peg game. When you're playing the game, you're focused on it so hard, it's really hard to know what your next move is. But as someone watching you play, it's really easy often to see the next move. And so for me, I started working with creative entrepreneurs and I started seeing these patterns consistently, patterns we all have talked about here: overworked and underpaid, a misunderstanding of cost. Megan spoke to that so well. Spinning those wheels. Guys, you just feel like you were in a mud puddle and you were just digging yourself deeper. Just spinning those wheels. Just visualize like I'm spinning around. Focusing on the wrong numbers. Again, maybe it's social media numbers. Maybe it's other numbers that you don't even know what to look at. Emotions driving decisions. Saying yeses because you feel like you should say yes. Never saying no. Emotions. Giving discounts. Hello, let's talk about that. And then just lack of clarity and direction. Megan spoke to this so well. Like, we sometimes have to start with a lot and eliminate it down until we find ourselves. And it's always a process. It's always a process. And I just want to say today, there is a better way. Than all these things we're talking about, there is a way to get to your 10. I want to encourage you that there's hope. And just for a second, I want to ask you, as we kind of wrap up here before the Q&A, like, what made you show up today to this conversation? Just chat it in the box for me. Like, what made you show up? Was it 6 figures? 6 figures was in the title, so I am showing up. Or was it less than 5,000 Instagram followers? Maybe you have less than 5,000, or maybe you want to not do social media. Like, what made you show up? Or maybe was it the speakers? Was it Riley and Megan and you love them, or Jessica and you are in for anything they do, which is totally understandable. What made you show up? So, and then as you type, I want you to say, but like, what really made you show up? Somebody said simplification, talking about finances, increasing margin, learning how to work outside social media. I think why you've stuck around this long is maybe hope. I think you really want to know and you hope that there's a better way. Because as you've seen, like, we are very much in this together. We have all been there in the spinning wheels. And I just want to share with you really quickly some stories. Thank you so much for your participation. This is so good. Because I want to let you know there is hope that you're looking for. There is profitability. There is sustainability. There is a life that's a little slower and not the hustle, maybe the unproductive hustle. This is my friend Amy Osaba. When I met Amy, she had 82% costs in her floral company. She was living with her mom with 3 boys. She lived in the basement. And she was breaking down every event that she had. A year later, she had decreased her cost 40%. She now owns a home with a pool. It's awesome. And she has a team of 5 people. This is Jessica. You will hear from her tomorrow or later today. Jessica had a rental company, guys, and then she completely turned it around. She started doing florals. I remember she told me that Jessica, I don't remember how old Stella was at the time, maybe a little, like 1.5. And she said like sometimes she would get home really late at night and she felt like Stella didn't even recognize her. Okay, Stella was 10 months old. Jessica now has 3 babies. She, as you know, she takes a trip with each one of them individually. She goes home, I think every Wednesday is her day off. Her story. Okay, let's keep going. Katie is a photographer. She cut her events in half. This is Hillary. She was able to take 10 weeks off, she wanted 3 months off, so 10 weeks, about 10 weeks, when she had a baby, and she was so afraid of slowing down. She actually increased her sales by 60% by doing this cool promo called Bumping Christmas. It was really cute. This is my friend Ashley. Ashley was the picture I showed you of essentialism on the left. She was doing all the things, and she's been really cool. She's in the process of kind of eliminating. This is my friend Ashley Bush. She took the Blueprint model last round, and she said that she was able to, through this 80-20 rule, figure out which direction, and she has now cut her time in half and is making in the 5 figures every month. So pretty crazy story. This is my friend Kate. She said she'll be able to pay off her debt in 1 year. Tiffany, Katie, so many, Catherine, Riley, Rachel May, who's on here today. This is my friend Torrance of Teak and Twine. These are all stories of people that will prove there's a better way, there's a different way. And I'm not always the answer, and this isn't always the answer, but I want you to find hope in this conversation. So today I want to just go back and say, let's tell the story and focus on the 5 things that each of us know are true that can build a business that's profitable and sustainable. People to people, building your track record, focusing on outcomes, not activity, finding the margin in between, and then less is more, simplifying moving forward. This week, I'm opening up the Blueprint model, which all these people have taken. I started seeing these patterns, and I thought, I have to help. I have to figure out how I can create something where I can help more people. And I designed these 9 simple steps. I say they're simple but not easy, to help you build a business that's profitable and sustainable. It's open this week. This is the roadmap, I say, to purposeful growth, profitability, getting paid to do what you love, more time off. And I just want to briefly tell you what you'll get, and then we'll have a Q&A where you can, if you're interested, we can ask more questions. But it's 25 teaching videos, 9 steps. You get 12 weeks with me as a group coach. We have 9 interviews from people that are telling their story, just like Megan, just like Riley today. 15 financial templates. I call this the financial toolkit, where you have these worksheets that I created for my one-on-one consulting clients like Amy, like Jessica. But then I created them into templates and then instructional videos on each one. So this is going to teach you, like, there's a pricing one where you can plug in your price and it'll spit out how much you should spend, or you should plug in what your budget is and see how much you need to price it at. It'll tell you all about margin, financial, projecting what your sales goal is, your cost. There's so many good things, and we can talk about that. But resource guide, and then an amazing community that Riley's in, and Jessica's in, and Megan is about to be in. So again, 25 videos, templates. You get weekly access to me through it's called office hours. So I go live and I coach and teach for an hour, a few hours every week, and then these case study interviews. We also added 3 bonuses this time based on the feedback from last time, which I know Jessica and Riley Jessica's in it, but Riley's so pumped to go through. But one of the biggest questions I got is, I have this really amazing plan, but I'm still not getting the clients I need. So how can I do that? So I interviewed 4 people that I think are doing it super, super well. How to build an audience of raving fans that buy your products and tell their friends. And so Erin, who'll be on tomorrow, Floret Flower, is going to tell how to build a raving fan base. Guys, a fan base that broke her internet trying to buy her products, literally. Megan's on there. Jessica's on there. My friend Beth's on there. Beth is an artist. She's going to talk about selling a non-essential. And then Megan, of course, is talking about essentials of branding. She's the best. And Jessica's going through her entire sales process from start to finish, where she says what email she sends and how she kind of preps them for the sale. So more on that to come, but let me read you a couple of testimonials. And again, this is about the program, but I just want to tell you, like, even bigger than that, that there are answers out there. And I would love to help. I would love for this program to be an answer for you. But even if it's not, like, there are answers. So Kelly, as a florist, she owns Intertwine, she said, if I was standing here with my best friend, I would tell her to buy it. It feels like an answer to my prayers. The program really covers every question I've been needing answers to and so much more. I love that it's not only about running a profitable and sustainable business, but also living a better life. Why was there not a course like this in college? Shanna made the content so easy to follow and really motivated me to change the way I work and live. So Carrie Moe has a great testimonial. You can see it on the site. Teak and Twine for product-based businesses, talking about the 80-20 rule. Hillary just really giving some great feedback. And then Katie, the editor of Cottage Hill, says, you would be crazy not to buy the course. It's like preventative medicine. And they go on and they go on. So if you're still here, I know that there's a reason. And because we've gone over our time frame, like always, I'm so chatty Cathy. But there's a reason. And I hope it's because you feel hope in this and that you see these testimonials and know, like, there are solutions. Just like Megan said, like, if there were some simple things she had known, maybe her business would have turned out a lot differently. And that's what the blueprint is about. It's about finding profit and finding sustainability. And we can talk all about how and why. So if you're still here, you're like, I'm interested. How much does it cost? So I used to work one-on-one with clients, and I don't anymore. And Jessica will tell you it was a lot. When I quit working one-on-one with consulting clients, I was about 18 to 20,000 to go through this process with me that I turned into this program. Or you can keep trying at it. You can talk to other people, get coaches. You have to get help some way. But if you want to go through the program, it's 3 payments of $700 or $19.97 one time. And then there is a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So there's all the numbers there. This is your invitation right now, and I have a little bonus for you. I don't know how many people are still here. If you're here, say hey, and that you're here. If you're still here, I am offering for the next hour, for anybody that purchases in the next hour after the live video, you will also get a one-on-one with me. Yay, there's still people here. Mary Lisa, Susan, Faye, Pamela, Becky, Alexis, y'all are great. And we're going to move into Q&A now, and I'm going to let the girls go. But for the next hour, there is a bonus where you can get a one-on-one with me. This is really awesome. I've never done this before. So we're going to get a bonus during the financial section where you get 45 minutes with me to talk all about your numbers, or really anything through the course. So in the next 1 hour, 210 people still here? Wow. Awesome. Sweet. Bonus. Get your bonus. Can I do 210 one-on-ones? Holy cow. Guys, this was awesome. I think that you are so spectacular. Thank you for sitting with us for an hour. Riley, Megan, thank you, even though I promised you it would be 45 minutes. Don't kill me. Y'all are the best. I see a little one there. And I just want to read you something before we leave, and then whoever wants to stay, we will Q&A for 10 to 15 minutes. That post that I wrote where I said I got 74 comments, I want to read you what I wrote, because I just want to, this is my heart. And I just want you to know, like, where I'm coming from. So I said, I think there's this place in between, this place where a business is more than just a hobby, but less than a scaled enterprise. I think there's this beautiful place of enough where abundance and contentment meet. This is the space for the lifestyle entrepreneur. I think this space is often disregarded. We are made to believe we aren't ambitious enough if we aren't chasing the hustle, and we aren't good enough if we are not much more than a hobby. And I just want you to know that the Blueprint Model was designed for anybody that wants to have a life, wants to do something they're passionate about, and also would like to get paid to do that. And so it really, because that's my heart. My heart is because I saw my friends spinning their wheels and trying at all the things, and I just want to help systemize it, cut it down into 9 basic steps that I believe can truly transform you into somebody making money and having a life. So I want to say thank you to Riley and Megan, and we're going to stay on for a Q&A. But again, the 1 hour bonus has started, so it's 2:45 my time. So until 3:45, if you want a one-on-one with me, again, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I just want to say thank you for listening. I'll do Q&A after this, but I want to let Riley and Megan go if they want to hop off, because I promised them they could go. So thank you guys for sharing your incredible stories with us. I know everyone is thankful, and they're going to chat in the box after, and I'll get to see it, but you'll be gone. Y'all are the best. Thank you for your time. Bye. Bye. You can stay on if you want, but feel free to go. And I'm going to start answering some questions. We're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes. Y'all can hop out whenever. I can't believe 210 people were still here at the end. I mean, that is rock solid. So some questions. I'm going to pull these up, and then Jessica, you can hop in too. So Heather says, does the Blueprint model address inquiry generation? I have a great portfolio website, and I'm pretty organized with my personal and business finance, but I'm seriously struggling with just getting potential clients to inquire. So Heather, that is such a great question. The Blueprint model isn't a marketing course, and it's not designed to help you get more clients. I always say that I can help somebody build something profitable with their pricing and their costs and understanding those things and creating more time and margin in their time, their schedule. There is a whole section I call Clarify, where we talk about what are your 3 services you're providing, who's your ideal audience. We create your client persona or your avatar. And then we do create a marketing plan where it's how can I target those particular clients. So there is a piece of that, but I do not want to in any way tell you it's a marketing course. I did add the bonus that I discussed earlier with Megan and Jessica and Aaron and Beth. It's going to end up being about an hour to an hour and a half of content all about building a fan base that buys from you. So we cover branding more so with Megan. We cover the sales cycle with Jessica. Erin's going to cover just how in the world she did what she did. I mean, she built something crazy. And then Beth talks about non-essential. So hopefully that answers that question, Heather. I think if you're looking for something to help with the overall business plan, but if you're looking for a particular marketing course, this one might not be the best investment for you, just being honest. There's some great tools in there, but let's see. Reese asked, since Megan and if Riley can hear this, well, let's go back to that one. So I purchased pricing for creatives, which for some reason I could not open. I'm wondering if the blueprint is different. Okay, so Lisa, great question. I know there's a lot probably here. Thank you for purchasing pricing for creatives. I created pricing for creatives with If I Made, and if you have any troubles with that, you can email me, or you can, they actually manage the whole program. So Lisa, it sounds like you haven't gotten access. I would just email them again. But pricing for creatives is all about pricing. It's about the different types of pricing, who should use what, just a lot of, you'll hear similar language about margin and understanding costs and defining what you want, because that's just who I am. And my kind of mindset, my belief system. But the pricing one is very particular in pricing. The blueprint model is way more comprehensive about strategy and business planning. So I kind of describe it like if you need to build a plan, if you're kind of really struggling just to find balance in your life and really want to dig more into the financial numbers, the blueprint model is a lot more comprehensive. But pricing is a good entry point, and it's all about pricing for pricing. So that course is a good place to start. Hey, Megan, I don't know if you want to answer this, but Reese asked, do you invest in any form of advertising?
I do not invest in advertising right now in a traditional way, meaning like I don't pay for Google ads and I don't print any type of advertisement, but I do believe firmly in paying through my time. That's how I best market myself. So 2 different times in my business, one when I did wedding stationery, and then the second was January 2016 when I had my fresh start and could do whatever I wanted. I invested my time creating things with people or by myself, and then sharing it on my own platform, and then reaching out to people I did and didn't know who had bigger reaches and asking them to share it, or just saying hi and then they shared it. So I think you have to invest time to create things that can be shared, but it doesn't have to be a traditional ad. And I think it really depends on your market and your product or service on if advertising is even a good idea for you in a traditional way. It could be awesome if you have a product that you have a ton of and that people can buy from you. But if it's service-based or really high-end, probably not a good idea.
Yeah. I would just tell people to evaluate, like, if you are investing in something, give it about 6 months and see if it's actually getting you a return on that investment. Whatever dollar amount you spend, you really want to see 3 times that at least coming back from it. So the key to advertising traditionally, I think what Megan said is on point, and I find dollars can be spent way better with people-to-people advertising. That's always going to be your bigger referrer. But if you are right now in an advertising source traditionally, then just really evaluate if that's the best use of your funds. Riley, were you going to say something? I don't want to cut you off. Or no? Okay, cool. Let me get to, thanks, Megan. That was awesome feedback. Somebody was asking about when should they invest, like if I'm a new business in the Blueprint model. I wish I had this quote right in front of me. But Katie Bryant, my friend said it's like the MBA for creatives. She said it could have saved me so much time, so much money if I'd taken this from the beginning. So in the Blueprint model, we cover data, like looking back at your sales and things like that. So there are going to be some moments for a new business or somebody that isn't that far in. There's like, well, I can't really look back on some things, but it's going to teach you a lot about what you should be tracking. Honestly, I wish every new business could take this program because I do believe that it could save people from getting into the headache. I mean, Riley and Jessica could probably speak to this because they have taken the program and Megan's going to. But they can speak to this even more well because they've taken it as a business, established business, but I really love when new businesses take it. So if one of you want to answer, feel free to. I'm going to look at the next question.
I can answer it.
Get it, Jess.
What up? Okay, so I did this program with Shanna when I was just a couple years in my business, but like failing as a business owner, just was going to be done any day if she didn't like save me. I wish I could have done it before I got started. But even if I hadn't have done it before now, like I wouldn't have a business. You know what I mean? So whatever point you're at is the point to do the program because it's going to teach you so much. It's just anytime you take it, you're going to go, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I educate myself sooner? I could have been making so much more money. I could have just everything. Like, don't wait. And Amy Osaba is who told me about Shanna, and she is the one who said to me, go get a loan if you have to. Because let me just tell you, one-on-one with Shanna, way more expensive than the Blueprint model. So let's all just be happy that that is even available. Okay. So anyway, but Amy was like, go get a loan because I don't care. So I put it on my credit card, which couldn't afford. And that had like a 19% interest rate, which is really smart. And knew it was dumb, but knew I needed her knowledge. And I mean, like within 6 months, I was able to pay all of that off and start actually making money and start actually bringing home a paycheck because of what she taught me. And so you can't take it too soon.
Thanks, Jess. Yeah, I think that's so key is because it really is just fundamentals. I'm always like, I'm not some crazy like genius. Kyle, my husband, always says my genius though is that I make really complicated things really simple. And I'm always really proud of that. Like somebody asked a question about how it's different from another course. I think Katie Selvage's course, but I think the difference with me is the money. I come from everything with a financial background. So I want to teach you how to read your numbers like a book. And so maybe not avoid them or just not pay attention to them. Or I'm going to show you like, here are the 4 things you have to know in your business every year. Here's how you attract those 4 things. And with Jessica, this is how she knows. I mean, she made a really cool comment on the website, and I love this, about for her, being able to know how to do these things herself made all the difference. You know, as a consultant, I was creating financial plans for people and then giving it back to them. And so they were supposed to follow it. And I started seeing the minute I kind of pulled back and stopped working with people, that they went right back to old habits. And it's because I was doing it for them. I felt like, am I helping them or am I just enabling them? And so it's really cool. It's such great feedback for me with Jessica, who was my consulting client, to then do this on her own. And then my friend Tasia, who Inspire Farm Events, did it on her own. When you start doing these things on your own, it clicks. It's a different conversation. You start understanding dollars maybe you never did, and those kind of things. So
can I say one more thing, Shanna?
Of course.
I think that another thing that's so great about Shanna's course as a woman and as, you know, just someone who beat herself up about all that I did wrong and genuinely believing with all my heart that I was doing it right and I had done all I could do, and just the way that she presents this program is so without judgment, and it's so loving, and you really, just how y'all see in Shanna's Instagram posts, that's how this whole program is. Like, it's just her heart, and it's an effort of wanting to genuinely help you. She doesn't want to just make money off a course. She makes less money on the course than she did on one-on-one. She wanted to be able to reach more people. So her heart is really behind it, and just feeling like, wow, other people have been this moronic too, other people have this much debt too, or whatever. She just has a way, even in the program, of holding your hand and making you feel like, I got you, we're gonna get through this. And I think that that is just so important.
Thank you, Jess. I'm gonna cry. Ugly cry. Thank you. You're so, I think, you know, you guys don't know me. You've met me for like kind of a second through the internet like this. But there's some really good questions on here. Like, this program is not everything. Like, I don't want to say it's the end all be all. It's not everything about marketing. It's not everything about social media. It's not everything. Clearly, it's not anything about creative, how to be a better photographer, how to be a better this. It's about being a better business owner. And in its fundamentals, how to create profit and how to create sustainability. But the really cool thing is my heart isn't just here. Like, now we've built this community. It's over 150 people and it's growing. It's getting even bigger. And so I'm really excited. The cool thing about the Blueprint Model, like, this is just your entry point into what I call the Blueprint family. And we really are a family. Like, I'm working on new things where we have continued learning. I think Lisa asked about retirement and things like that. All that stuff can't be covered in one course. It would be ages long and no one would get through it because it's online. But the cool thing is I'm working on for the end of this year, maybe, but definitely by 2018, where I'm releasing new videos every month that the Blueprint family gets access to. We're working on a big conference. Again, all these things might not happen, but I want to provide more learning. And I just want you to feel confident knowing that this is just step one into a community. I'm really trying very hard to love well and use any of my knowledge to give back. So I hope that answers Lisa's question. No, we don't talk about retirement in this one, but I do have several trainings in the works because my background's in personal finance. So
can I speak to Kathleen? Because you're not going to speak to this because it's your course. Kathleen, I agree with you. And yes, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm already like flailing and you want me to spend $1,900? Really? Like, I'm not going to finish it. I get you. But what she has done, once again, is why I love Shanna. I think you said that like most courses have a 30% finish rate or something. Yeah. Shanna's, no one has ever quit it. First of all, she walks with you every week. She emails you every week. I don't know if you're still doing that, but you can correct me. But she's with you every week. She stays with you. Everyone every week is together. Like, we're all in it together. And so you feel like you've got accountability. You, I don't know. It's just a very, you're going to finish it. You'll finish it because it's just, there's just no way you can't with the community that's involved. And how accountable Shanna keeps you. And she gives you little like exciting plugs along the way, like finish this and you'll get this. And it's really great. Like, you won't regret it. It's really good.
Thank you, Jessica. That was a really good, I'm glad you answered that one because I would do it different. It is true. most online programs have about 30% completion rate. And then I'm going to take one more question after this, and then we'll wrap it up because it's 3 o'clock. 30% completion. Right now we have 60% has completed it since the last launch was June of last year. So the very first class was last year, 2016 class. They have 60%, 40% are still actively going through, and they're actually rejoining to go through with round 2. There is a 6-month deadline to complete it in order to have lifetime access. The reason that is because I saw that online courses I never want you to invest something that you don't get out of it, but you have to do it, and I can only hold your hand so much unless I just fly to your house and knock on your door, which don't put that past me. But anyway, so I put the 6-month deadline on there because we all need deadlines. And so it was really cool to see people push and get that done or recommit for another round. So like Jessica said, no one has quit, and I'm so proud of that because I'm committed in any way that I can, but I want you to do it because that's so good. I know there was another question like, it won't be handed out this is the only time it's open in 2017. The reason why is because I really am committed to the community, and I can only do it once a year where I really am walking with you. And that's, I don't want to say that that'll never happen again, but that's the plan, for it to be open once a year in January, because the feedback, the other cool thing as a member of the community, you give me feedback. So we've added 3 bonuses this time. The marketing bonus, I added one on passive income, like streams of income, when to add like products or courses or teams. So all about streams of income. And then another one just on goal setting, because you create this plan, but it can sometimes like, what's my next step? And that's all based on feedback from the last round. So that's a really cool thing. So we've had photographers take it, calligraphers, paper goods, rental companies, floral people, designers, brand designers. I've had a lady, they own a coffee shop. So it's not just wedding industry professionals. It's Katie Selvage with the magazine, Torrance of Teak and Twine with the gift boxes, and even like product sales. So if you have a question that's not with you, the cool thing is I'm adding new cheerleaders and adding new content that will be more specific. One course can't answer all your like specific questions, but it can give you fundamentals of growing a profitable, sustainable business. So if I'm gonna cut us off here. So yes, to answer Alexis, within the 1 hour, you get a one-on-one with me, which is awesome because you don't get a one-on-one with me, and I'm awesome at coaching people. And that's within the hour, but then it closes Thursday at midnight. So I hope I've answered everybody's questions. Thank you for everyone that sat with us for an hour and a half. Megan, Riley, thank you. Oh my goodness, because I told you 45 minutes. Y'all still love me. And I just want you to know that there is the ability to create a profitable, sustainable, puts money in your pocket, gives you a paycheck, allows you to be with your little ones. And I have taken everything that I learned in my 10 plus years in finance and 5 plus years in the creative world and tried to create a step-by-step process to get you there. So I'd love to see you in the Blueprint model. Thank you for your time, and I hope that y'all have a great afternoon. I'm going to stop the broadcast, but you ladies stick on with me for a second.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.